Get a Mac.
But like everyone's like, oh, you rape these children, I'm like, no, it's fuck rape. You know, that girl.
You still fucked him, right?
Yeah, I had sex with him.
Oh shit. Girl, shake that body.
Oh shit. Fuck. Sorry, I think I ruined the intro. What's up? It's your boy. Advil back at it again. God, I fucking hated that. Today I want to talk about someone who is genuinely one of the worst people I've seen on the entire platform of YouTube. And this guy's name is... I don't know. He doesn't go by a name. It's really weird. But he has a bunch of aliases, so I'm just gonna call him that. His aliases contain Rika Anon, Mr. Cynical, Burn Castle, Invisible Anchor, Electra, and the last one, not gonna say on YouTube. And so this guy is genuinely terrible. I'm gonna go more in depth later on what I mean by that, but for right now, I think I should give you guys the background information. Mr. Cynical is actually a pretty big creator, especially compared to me. He has almost 100,000 subscribers and over 15 million views. That's an insane amount. Mr. Cynical, as I'm going to call him, is a Star Wars anime review channel. He has a bunch of deep dives into certain topics revolving around Evangelion, Star Wars, random pop culture things, cryptocurrency, traps, lolly. He seems great. In one of his most compelling and, in my opinion, worst videos, I'm going to let you take a guess on which one it is. Yeah, that's right. It's the lolly video. But again, I'll get to that later. Sorry, I promise I'm not trying to edge you guys. There's just a lot to cover. So I think I should give you guys the rundown on who this guy is and where he got started. But I'm not very equipped to do that. I'm a commentator who also makes epic meme videos. I can't do that. Instead, I got a guy who reads Wikitubia for a living to do it for me. Take it away, Bills.
Mr. Cynical is a YouTuber who makes deep dive and analysis content on a wide variety of pop culture topics. He created his channel on October 1st, 2007, and the first public video on his channel was uploaded on November 6, 2016, and it was on the anime Monster. That video would gain over 700,000 views as of today. During 2014 through 2016 roughly, he was a recurrent 4chan user and in his own definition was a troll. He then merged accounts with his friend creating the Electra channel, but then he would later change the name to just a blank text. This is his reasoning for doing it. My YouTube channel has no name for one reason. I don't want people to care about me. Instead, I want my videos, their ideas, and values to stand by themselves, without the prestige of a signature attached to them. I did not make videos to obtain fame or wealth, but for something more significant, to provide a hand for any individual seeking to better understand how to think and live. Mr. Cynical has various tweets and a 33-minute video pretty much defending lollies and the examination with society's view of pedophiles and pedophilia, almost to a strange degree. Advil will cover that later on in the video, but I just thought I'd mention it. Mr. Cynical also has a decentralized website where he posts all of his censored videos and shows off his talents, I guess. But that's all for me, and I'm gonna give you back to my favorite Mr. GG clone, Advil.
So Mr. Cynical is one of those guys who constantly gets his content taken down. Obvious reasons. Again, the lolly video is one of them. But he decided to make a decentralized website, or at least he calls it. You can find it on his website. By the way, just letting you know, before you go on there, you can get your IP. He IP banned someone I know who is also trying to make a video on him, so be wary of that. He said the reason he made this was because he wanted to archive his videos and he wanted them to last for centuries, which I respect. Except for the fact, I don't think people are going to care for centuries considering they barely care now. That's really mean. I'm sorry. But also on his website, he has a FAQ. And you get to learn a lot behind the screen on who Mr. Cynical is. And he just details what his standards are for videos, why his channel doesn't have a name, all that stuff. It's actually quite interesting and what is kind of where I started when I first looked at this. Except there's one tab that kind of irked me a little bit. It's the one titled, "Why do you have Furude Rika as your avatar?" And it's the anime girl that you see plastered everywhere, and you're gonna see it a bunch in this video. And he says, and I quote, "Because I love her. She is my waifu in its proper meaning. Before the word became a catch-all term to mean a collection of favorite characters, a waifu is a character that represents your soul and serves as an ideal of whom you want to become. You might not know that you love the character until years later when your subconscious hits you like a train and you realize that she is the one. It is similar to real love, but with a sense of gratitude and devotion." Powerful stuff. Except a few issues with this. One, I looked up waifu and its definition, and even the quote-unquote proper meaning And the closest I've been able to find to represents your soul and serves as an ideal of whom you want to become is one where it says you might be romantically interested in them. Not whatever bullshit he was talking about. Just letting you know, by the way, the character he's talking about, Rika, considering it's someone that he loves and is similar to real love, possibly ages 6 to 16. Along with his weird ass website, there's also his weird ass videos, which I'm not gonna touch on because I'm not really trying to focus on this content, more of who he is behind the scenes. But the one I've been hinting at a lot is the lolly video. Basically in this video, he just talks about how he thinks lolicons are getting a bad rep and that they're not actually pedophiles, which is a fair distinction to make. Lolicons like drawings, pedophiles like kids.
Simply put, a pedophile can be a lolicon, but a lolicon may not be a pedophile. And, equally, a child molester can be a lolicon or pedophile, but a lolicon may not be a pedophile or child molester. The terms are not synonymous.
He makes the claim that lolicon is freedom of speech, and if you ban the art or disavow the art or whatever, it is a violation of freedom of speech, which I can kind of see the argument.
On the principles and values of free speech. At its core, the right to free speech is an aspect of the right to liberty. Individuals must have the right to think for themselves and use their minds as they so choose. They must have the right to express their thoughts, desires, and beliefs in material form, whether orally or in writing, without fear of losing their lives to a mob or facing government suppression. Freedom of speech is important because it protects the rights of unpopular minorities that the majority may wish did not exist.
Then he pivots to pedophiles, and a lot of people who are pedophiles, they're kind of just born with it. It's something that's in their head, and we shouldn't be allowed to kink shame them or shame them.
Wrong with having perverse fantasies so long as they remain a fantasy. But society is not ready for this sort of acceptance or realization. And shaming people for their desires or fetishes simply leads to widespread discrimination. This is why the label of lolicon is important and must be recognized.
Basically saying lolicons are allowed to have free speech, but you can't if you go against pedophiles. Overgeneralization, by the way. I don't want people who are a big fan of the video, who have it favorited, to come after me. I don't give a shit. The video is really resemblant of that Scrimzox video, or whatever they're called now, about lollies and pedophilia. And that video's been talked about to death, so you can kind of just copy and paste the critiques of that video on the second half of Mr. Cynical's video. Now, I don't think there's really anything to talk about in terms of his content anymore. Anyways, on to the next section. So I'm assuming a lot of you are wondering, but Avil, what's the point of making a whole video on this guy? He just sounds like a little bit of a degenerate, not really anything that's video worthy. And I would agree with you. You know, degenerates, they're weird. That's more for the Turkey Tom channel. It's not really here on the Advil. Because if he was just a degenerate, I would probably ignore it. I would be like, yeah, he's weird, but he'll get talked about by other people. He is far worse than just your average degenerate. Remember when our good friend Bill said that he was on 4chan a lot before he started his YouTube channel? Well, he wasn't just on 4chan. He's actually a prominent figure, a celebrity, if you will. If you say the no-no name that we couldn't say earlier, there's 3 groups of people. 1, doesn't know who he is. 2, shivers in fear. 3, avid supporter. The 3rd one's rare. If you find one of those, it's like a base set Charizard. Hey, it's Ed or Advil here, and I just want to make one point clear. 4chan is a place that constantly has shit like gore, death, fucking child porn constantly posted on there. A lot of the communities on there are fucking disgusting. They have some of the worst shit on the internet, right? So to be someone that is so well known and so disgusted by the general 4chan community that whenever someone is a complete degenerate, they associate that with you, takes a special level, just complete and utter disgusting shit. Come on, dude. So during his 4chan days, Mr. Cynical was a self-proclaimed troll, and he would troll the masses on 4chan. And I'm putting troll in quotes because you're gonna see it's not so simple. So let me show you the rabbit hole of his deranged and insane trolls. I want to give you a trigger warning. If any of the things on screen upset you, you can just click away now. Thank you for watching, but I don't want to upset you. Along with that, this is going to be the start of a tonal shift, just because a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is serious and affects real people, and I don't think me holding up a Fortnite gun would be really helping my points any. So after Mr. Cynical's era on 4chan, where he would post insane shit to try to get reactions of people, he pivoted to YouTube. It was a couple years after, but that's when he started doing the anime and movie reviews. And those things popped off. His videos did insane, but a few of his audience members remembered the name Rika and kind of recognized his voice. So they did some digging and they found some screenshots of some of the trolling he did. Now, before we go further, I want to set a ground level for what trolling is defined as on Wikipedia, at least.
In internet slang, a troll is a person who posts inflammatory, insincere, digressive, extraneous, or off-topic messages in an online community, such as social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., a news group, forum, chat room, online video game, or blog, with the intent of provoking readers into displaying emotional responses or manipulating others' perception. This is typically for the troll's amusement or to achieve a specific result, such as disrupting a rival's online activities or manipulating a political process. Even so, internet trolling can also be defined as purposely causing confusion or harm to other users online for no reason at all.
Mr. Cynical's trolls followed this definition to a T. He posts inflammatory, asinine shit on 4chan to try to get a reaction from people, and he got a reaction. But the problem is, once he started doing YouTube and taking it seriously, people found it and found his trolls, which, looking back, didn't really seem so funny. So his audience did some digging on 4chan and found some screenshots where Mr. Cynical allegedly went to Thailand to try to hook up with underage girls, and he actually, according to what he said on 4chan, did. There was a bunch of screenshots dug up, a bunch of posts, a bunch of people talking about him, and it just spiraled from there. I'll show you some of the posts right now.
FBI can't do shit to me. I used to have over 70 gigabytes of CP for research purposes. They're all shit. Lolly is better in every possible way.
Talked? I actually had sex with underage kids one time, though it was weird and awkward as fuck. Honestly, fuck 3D, just stick to 2D. Downhins are far more better than 3D in every way. People will never understand how horrible it is to fuck children when you have a conscience. I just find the idea of controlling your own lolly to be able to fuck her however you want to be very interesting. You can't understand the feeling of having someone under your complete control. It feels great. A lolly is the epitome of that.
You only feel depraved after you've fapped and know the wrongs committed. That's why I understand it's bad, but see it as a wrong way to see it that way. Toddler con just happens to be among that set of fetishes. Anything where absolute control is shown without going to extremes, it's my fetish. As long as it's connected to control, it turns me on. I don't see anything wrong with that since everyone has their own fetishes. Rape is my fetish. It was very well done. The extra bits after the rape were unneeded, but shows how awesome it actually is. The part where he orders her to tell him to say how much she loves him, how she wants to marry him, just makes my dick hard every time. The best rape dojin have this what the fuck, why did this happen to me face, and Geiger Counter has the best example of this since it gives a lot of extra pages of this rather than the after the immediate rape. All the great rape and soul crushers I know have this, like.
So after you see this, you're probably thinking, man, this guy's fucking weird, which is the obvious reaction. There's so many examples of him saying this type of stuff and being this weird. Hell, the most popular story and the one that he keeps on repeating over and over again, where he flew to Thailand and hooked up with a bunch of underage prostitutes. It's just the most asinine, insane shit. And if it's a troll, good job for being accurate, I guess. But the one issue I have, even if it is a troll and it's fake, why go the absurd lengths to try to get these people to believe you? Why have such detailed stories you did in Thailand, what you did about how much you love children, all that stuff? Why would you go to such asinine, insane lengths just to explain how much of a degenerate you are? I can't wrap my head around it. But the main issue with constantly pushing and prodding and making this narrative known throughout the entire 4chan community and adding more and more lore to this supposed character and trying your damnedest to make people believe it is that people will. Even now, people are going to believe it, and it's completely fair for people too. Mr. Cynical tried his damnedest when he used to be on 4chan to make people believe it. With all the shit that he's just constantly added more and more to, people are. And I mean, it's not just a few posts like here and there. It's gotten to the point where if anyone is as degenerate and talks about kids and stuff like that, to the point where he did, people assume that it's Rika or trying to impersonate Mr. Cynical. But to be fair, these are all alleged. None of it's been proven, and it could just not even be him because everything on 4chan is anonymous unless you specifically make yourself known. But even then, who knows if it's really him? Like, I don't. There's no way I can know, except for this one thing I have. I might have a little recording of him retelling the story. I'll play that real quick.
Another time that I was getting drunk and I started talking about, like, everyone's like, oh, you rape these children, I'm like, no, it's fuck rape, you know, that guy.
Well, you still fucked him, right?
Yeah, I had sex with him, just...
You fucked him right in the pussy?
Yes.
What was that, like 2 years ago?
3 years ago. No,
like that?
no, 3 years ago. 3, 4? No, 4 years ago. Sorry.
And wait, that was in Thailand.
Yes.
Shit. And then what? There's one you just didn't.
Yeah, there was 3 girls. They were all on the mattress, and I fucked one girl, and then I used a condom. After that, one of them gave me a blowjob. I just started wanting to fuck the other girl. Then fucking the other girl tends to fucking laughing and just fucking annoying me. And then I just lost my fucking boner. And girl just started patting me on the fucking back. It was really fucking annoying. Then after that, she gave me another blowjob. Then I fucked the other girl, and I wanted to fuck the third girl, but like it's already spent like what was it, 30 minutes or half an hour? Or 45 minutes, I can't remember. Then the fucking lady came, she's like, your time is over, and some bullshit. And I had to leave.
Yeah, what?
Whatever.
Wait, did you do one of them without a condom?
No, I did both of them with a condom. They gave me like a whole strain of condoms.
So from that, you can obviously tell something's a little loose up here. Now, before I go any further, I want to give some background information that I know personally from a source who actually was in the call. Now, you can choose to believe this or not because they would like to stay anonymous. And I completely get it if you just want to discredit this entirely because it's anonymous and there's not really much proof. But I think it's important to note because it's out there. What my source said was 2 things. One, apparently Mr. Cynical was drunk in this call talking about his alleged escapades. And 2, this call was made up of purely just friends. That's going to be important later. Now, I'm going to be covering a lot of this stuff about the recordings and what he said later because I'm also going to be talking about his response later. But I just want to say my thoughts and go more in depth later. So for now, I'm going to be talking about the second group of 4chan posts. There's a lot more. There's so many more. There's like a full library full of posts that he made. I feel like this one in particular is the one that is the most damning and quite literally disgusting. So around 2014, I'm not sure the specific date where he first started doing it, but Mr. Cynical started posting pictures of his little sister in compromising positions on 4chan. You must be thinking, if a schmuck like me can find it, this is something from a creator who has almost 100,000 subscribers. Someone has definitely found this out and called him out by now, right? Well, they have. A few people on Twitter have actually called him out multiple times. His responses are very concerning. Before he even responded on Twitter, he actually made a few brash statements about it on 4chan when he first started posting it, and he got called out by some people calling him obviously weird. So a lot of people asked him, are you okay with people using the pictures of your 11-year-old sister devious purposes? Trying not to be too gross here, by the way. And he said this. I don't know how many goddamn times I have to explain this. It's the burning the flag / burning the country analogy. When a person burns a flag, they are doing it with the intent of wanting the country it is associated to burn. But regardless of the intent of the action, that person has only burned a flag and nothing else. People get upset at the intentions of the act rather than what was committed. And as such, a person fapping to my Emoto faps to her image, imagine they are fucking her. However, they will never fuck her. I, or someone else, can get angry at the intent of you guys wanting to fuck my Emoto, but I know full well that they are simply images you are fapping to. Your intent will never reach her. Which doesn't even have to do with anything. The person is asking, are you okay with people jerking off to your sister? Not, are you okay with people wanting to have sex with your sister? That response is insane to me, honestly, because the issue isn't that people are going to want to harm your sister at all. The issue is that you are putting pictures of your sister online and intentionally trying to get people to sexualize her and use it for devious purposes. I can't even describe how stupid this logic is, and I hope it's obvious. I hope I don't have to explain how terrible that response is. When he got called out on Twitter, he had a lot more responses specifically about the sister thing. So when people called him out for the picture of his 11-year-old sister's feet, this is what he said: she consented and feet aren't sexual. I doubt you'll find any laws saying posting feet is sexual abuse, or make a moral case that posting feet is somehow immoral. I'm not even gonna try to debate that posting feet is sexual because he obviously posted it with the intent of sexualizing it. Because he also said this when he first posted the picture of his sister's feet. I'm not gonna read it out, but there it is. And if you don't know what this word means, I'll put a definition up. A foot is someone who has a sexual fetish for feet, human or otherwise. So feet itself, I guess, are not inherently sexual, but the context that you use it in and the way that you portray it is obviously extremely sexual. And so yes, people are allowed to call you out for that, for sexualizing your, once again, 11-year-old sister. And also someone asked him about the banana photo, and this is what he had to say. What's erotic about eating a banana? I think you're the one projecting lewdness where there is none. The picture is of his 11-year-old sister having a banana in her mouth. There's nothing inherently lewd about a banana, but the connotation of a banana has always been there. Bananas have been euphemisms for a lot of things for a lot of years, and him playing ignorant isn't gonna fucking work. I'm sure anyone who doesn't have a lolly as their profile picture will understand how messed up this is, how bad his response is too. And this is him fully admitting to posting those pictures on 4chan. I'll read it out. Did you upload photos of your sister for internet pedophiles? For them? No. Why the fuck were you doing that shit? To destroy waifu threads on 4chan/all. I don't know what to say to this. I can't I can't like come up with a debunk of this. Not because he's in the right, but because it's so incredibly stupid and obvious why this is a bad thing that I don't feel the need to have to explain anything about it. And if you need me to debunk and try to rationalize why posting photos of your 11-year-old sister for people on 4chan who have talked about how attracted they are to her, maybe you should go to therapy. He also made a multi-thread tweet about the leaked audio and the entire story as a whole. I'll play that for you now.
How many times do I have to repeatedly say that I didn't? The entire thing is complete bullshit from 7 to 8 years ago on 4chan. I literally never went to any Asian countries. And if you believe that a confession isn't evidence, you're wrong, because it's an appeal to authority. I told a bunch of bullshit on A to get waifu blanks angry. It worked. The mods burned the entire waifu threads down because of their anger. And now this shit resurfaced because this one guy recorded me on the voice call, which I should have accounted for, but didn't. I never had sex with kids. I don't give a shit about children. Saying that I went to Thailand to fuck children doesn't mean that I did. And this entire thing is laughable because people are getting worked up and over things they can't prove. Only my word. That's the joke. And people go, but who would willingly throw away their reputation over something like this for a laugh? Who else but someone who doesn't give a shit about reputation and finds idiots who do moral crusades to be hilarious? Why do you think I value anonymity? It's funny. It doesn't matter what I say. This entire thing lets me examine people's stupidity on how much they're willing to accept bullshit as evidence rather than weigh their judgment for more concrete evidence. And I find it annoying that people are cowardly by not asking first. You're awfully defensive for someone just taking the piss. I'm being defensive mostly out of anger right now because what started bitching and this other idiot from the burn account, Trap Senpai, keeps going around bugging people to unfollow me and ratting them out as evil shits recently.
What you'll learn from Mr. Cynical's responses is that when he gets called out, he does one of two things. One, he spurgs out and makes multi-thread tweets talking about how he's correct and how everyone else is stupid. And he uses big words to try to make everyone who calls him out feel stupid because they can't use big words and they didn't read the thesaurus before making their tweet about him. But most of the time, his responses, or his opinions actually, on Twitter are contradictory, or they just don't make sense at all. How can your only goal about making videos and being a micro celebrity is try to help people think better and question everything around them and just broaden their scope? But as soon as people start questioning you, you freak the fuck out and spurg out on anyone, try to even compensate with you. It's a weird dichotomy when you really think about it. I pulled out my thesaurus too. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't really talked about any of the controversy or any of the shit that I've just talked about since these varied responses. I'm not 100% sure because while I was working on this video, video, like right now, his Twitter did get suspended. So he could have, and I could have just missed it. But as far as I'm aware, this is pretty much all he talked about. Now, one question a lot of you might have is, what is there left to talk about? And honestly, I don't think there's anything. I shine light on someone who obviously not a good guy, someone needed to make a video on. And if you look him up, there's not that many. He's been banned off Twitter, and his channel's not doing great, honestly. I feel like this is the end of the story. End of the story, at least from where we are right now. If there's anything new, I'll make sure to tweet about it, or if it's I'll make a follow-up video. But honestly, I think that's it. I would like to thank you all so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you feel like it, if you got into the end, and thank you so much. So that's where the video was supposed to end, but while I was working on it, I got some new info.
Young Gunners in beast mode, K9T show.
Hey, what's up? Did you like that little cutscene? By the way, I got a new character. So it's a whiteboard. So before I go any further and actually explaining what this part is about, I want to let you know that this part in particular is under the cloak of allegations. A lot of it is speculation, and it doesn't have a lot of strong evidence, but it is something that has been echoed through many different friend groups that Mr. Cynical was and still is a part of. And so I feel like it is important to talk about at the very least. If you choose to believe it, that's completely your choice. And if you just choose to ignore this part, that's fine too. I wanted to at least let you know about this. So since I've started researching this, I thought I was going to be done earlier, where the glitching started happening. That was actually the end. That was supposed to end there. But I got a bunch of DMs from people who were in Mr. Cynical's circle. Now, a lot of the new allegations that have come up involve 3 people. One, Mr. Cynical, and the 2 other people are Mr. Cynical's exes. Now, as far as I'm aware, the allegations are pretty simple compared to some other videos I've done. To break it down simply, Mr. Cynical told multiple of his friends they did I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me in this clip. What I was trying to say is, kind of like how he recalled the story of him flying to a different country to sleep with minors, he did the same thing, but with this story. Sadly, unlike the other one, there are no recordings of it. Jesus Christ. The consensus among the friend group was that it was all jokes, but one person got extremely uncomfortable by this and decided to call him out. And so, Mr. Cynical sent all of his friends to go attack that person. And after that, some people in the friend group actually asked him if the story was real, and he said yes. And really, the only thing I was able to find on this whole situation is a screenshot that someone who was in the group chat sent me of someone asking him if it was as bad as he said or if it was even true. And he said, while it wasn't rape, it was a very violent altercation. Definitely doesn't sound great. But in terms of this whole thing, I don't really have anything else on this story. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I wish I could just understand what goes through Mr. Cynical's mind, because a lot of this just is inexcusable. And even doing the actions is insane. Like, I wish I could just go in there. I wish I could have a conversation with him to understand. What? Why don't you just DM him? His Twitter's deleted. I can't DM him. You have him added on Discord. I don't know. I do? Yeah, just message him. Yeah, all right, I'll see what I can do. Man, commentary YouTubers can't do anything right. Massive legend here. So fellas, I have some amazing news. I reached out to Mr. Cynical and asked him for an interview, and he said yes. Yay! And let me show you what he said. So I have my interview with Mr. Cynical, and I'm going to show you what I feel like are the most important questions and answers that I asked and he gave. I asked a bunch, but I'm only going to show the ones that I feel like are the most important to put in this video. I'm going to put them all in the Pastebin or Google Doc or whatever I decide to do in the description below. So if you want to check them out, then do that. If you want to double check me, you can also check that there. So here it is. Who are you?
I am a Canadian whose identity is of no one's concern. I am primarily known for making YouTube videos.
Do you think your response to the 4chan post still hold up?
I have nothing to add or to change.
Do you truly believe your posts are truly just trolls?
Belief again has nothing to do with it. Nothing I did was immoral or illegal.
Do you think you are excused for posting pictures of your sister on 4chan?
Being excused doesn't matter. Who is to excuse me? What am I to be excused of? There is nothing wrong with posting pictures of siblings on the internet.
Do you have any proof or other information that would prove that you are innocent from the Discord call?
My passport shows my travel logs. If the police were to ask of evidence, I would gladly show it. Hence, I have nothing to fear. As for the court of public opinion, I don't care. Therefore, I am not willing to show anything that might reveal my identity. I prefer to leave the matter to people's independent judgment as to whether what I've said is obvious bullshit or not. I consider it a test to see if people's tolerance for bullshit, and their gullibility, of course. Many people recognize that my claims are over the top, yet, nevertheless, they believe it. That's not my problem.
Are the allegations of abuse true or not? Give your side.
Allegations are irrelevant.
Are the allegations that What the What made true? Does he have any substantial evidence?
If I remember correctly, he was recounting an event. That he heard offhandedly. That he heard from someone else about how I strangled my girlfriend. We had a BDSM type of relationship. If the allegations were something else, I don't remember, nor care.
Do you stand by your belief of lolly art?
Free speech is an absolute, so yes.
Is there anything you want to be out there, or any information that isn't known to be known?
I don't care.
Now from that, you can definitely see a few issues if you've been paying attention to the story. The one response he gave that I had the most issue with personally was the one about his 11-year-old sister. If I'm being honest, that's the one thing that he has done that I think is the worst. All the other stuff is things that he could just say wasn't true. This is something that he knows that he did and admitted to. He is completely guilty of this, and that's the worst part to me. And his response to this was probably the worst thing that he could have said. His response of, "There is nothing wrong with posting pictures of siblings on the internet," is probably the most tone-deaf thing that he could have said. It's like he didn't even understand the situation that I was explaining. Because it wasn't just posting pictures of his sibling, it was posting pictures of your sibling with their feet out and asking people if they are sexually attracted to feet. And I actually pushed him on this. I said with the sexual connotation of anyone here he is basically calling on anyone to sexualize his sister. And he basically just pushed back on that and said no. Instead of actually trying to debunk and explain his position, all he would do is would avoid the questions and say, well, that's not how this works, or no, without any other descriptions, which is honestly the worst defense you could ever give. As someone who claims to not care about how the internet perceives him or his reputation online, he seems to really hate it when anyone brings up these allegations, calling them dumb, stupid, everything under the bat, and going extremely hard on anyone who even questions him about it. I don't want him to be banned, but I want him to acknowledge and realize what he's done is specifically the sister thing and why it's bad. And Mr. Cynical, when you watch this video, I want you to understand what you did was bad. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that's all I have for the rest of this video. For the rest of the questions, he was super uninterested and avoided answering most of the time. He would either dodge the question and give some completely nonsensical answer, or just say, don't care. I didn't really want to get him so pissed off that he just wouldn't respond to me, just in case I needed to ask follow-up questions. So I didn't really press it further because I feel like I was this close to getting blocked. Well, that's all for this video. I appreciate you watching, and I want to say one final thing. Fuck minks.
Crank that bitch to a million. Turn that bitch to a million. Break your hands.
Hey, thank you for watching. Sorry that it took a while to upload a video. I've been busy. I've been doing stuff. And also, I'm sorry that the outro was kind of weird. I haven't figured out how to make YouTube outros at all. I've been doing this shit for like a year. I still don't know how to. I wanted to let you know that I'm gonna try to upload more. I'm trying to make 2 or 3 videos between now to the beginning of December, and then a video in December. I'm planning on doing some more commentary stuff like this video, maybe some smaller stuff, a few bigger ideas that I've always wanted to do that I think would be interesting. So if any any of that sounds interesting, or you just like this video, make sure to subscribe. It means a lot. I'm really stressed for this video, so I hope some people at all like it. I'm also thinking of streaming on Twitch. My Twitch is on screen in the description. If you want to come by, hang out, talk about the video or whatever, I'm going to be streaming more, or at least try to. So it'd be great to see you. Thank you again for watching. Sorry again for the large gap. I'm going to try to fix that, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully that's a better outro.